Caroline, here we are at the State House.
Yes.
And in the House, I was kind of counting through yesterday on the legislative website. Over 300 bills are now dead.
Wow.
And I think that gives you a sense of like how much we've been wading through. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm going insane a little bit sometimes where we're like, you got to cover this, you got to cover this.
Yes.
We're trying to keep track of this movement.
What's one that you noticed that is now dead?
Yeah, so the big one that you and I both covered was this bill on the firing squad. So lawmakers were kind of talking about, hey, basically the drug that we're using for kind of the death penalty is super expensive. It's difficult to get. We want to look at other alternatives. And so one of the alternatives that they were looking at was, well, can we use a firing squad to carry out the death penalty? When we were sitting through committee, there was a moment where Jim Lucas, who's the bill sponsor, was like, hey, we're talking about the specifically, are we okay with the firing squad? Yeah. But both Democrats and Republicans had been like, yeah, but not only am I not okay with this, am I okay with the death penalty like as a whole?
Yeah.
And so that died on a super tight margin. It didn't end up getting to the point where a bill would just effectively die. It could have been brought back up for one more vote on this past Monday, and it never was. And so as of now, it has passed away.
Yes.
You covered a lot of the what was going on with the Ten Commandment bill. Can you kind of talk about that piece of legislation?
Yeah, that bill would have essentially allowed schools to have an easier time of posting the Ten Commandments in classrooms or in libraries. It wasn't going to make it a requirement, but it would have put it on one of the protected writing texts that is already laid out in our state laws. And those protected texts mostly revolve around like the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, texts that aren't inherently religious. So this would have been one of the first religious ones on that list. But that bill essentially didn't get a key vote in the House when it needed to, so now that one is also dead. There's actually also another key education bill, or it's kind of like a child's issue bill that a lot of lawmakers really rallied around. It was an issue that would have banned social media for minors. That was actually tucked away in another big education bill that is still moving through the House and the Senate. But this one provision in the bill did eventually get taken out. We're not really sure why it did. The lawmaker who proposed that wasn't really explaining much about that. But all of this, that language could eventually show up again in bills as they are still moving through the House, since we still have the whole second half of the session.
So anyway, we're just going to be following whatever's next as it happens.